Good morning, everyone. My name is Demetrius. I am a solutions consultant here with EZOfficeInventory. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to attend the very first webinar on exploring the new user interface. Especially in these trying times, scheduling can be a bit difficult, and we really appreciate you guys attending. I will be joined by Danielle, one of our solutions consultants, and a member of our product team at BIHA. We're basically going to just touch on the new layout, why we took on this initiative, kind of give you a little peek at our product roadmap, and at the end of it, we'll have about a 10-15 minute Q&A session. For those that we're unable to get to, we will follow up with an email. I do want to let you know that we will be having an ongoing poll to gather your feedback. It's really important to us. You could probably tell that we thrive on our client input. Once the poll pops up, feel free to minimize it if you do not want to answer right away, but we really appreciate it if you did take a minute or two to just go ahead and answer it. It's a multiple question, real simple. So to get things started, let's have Abiha go ahead and go over our enhanced user experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Abiha. I'm part of the product team at EZOfficeInventory. So one of our main goals as a product team is to make the asset management experience really simple and seamless for you guys. As a result, we want to make sure that our user experience is optimal and that our users do not waste their time with unnecessary clicks or just waiting for the page to load. So with our team of UX designers, we sat down, we broke down the steps that it takes to get through processes in the system, and we made sure that we keep these processes quick and visually appealing. And if you've been through the product, you know exactly how dense and feature rich it is and how many steps that takes. So yes, this was a pretty big change for us. And with that, I'll be moving on to the next point, which is the utilitarian perspective. So before now that we've transitioned into the new interface, a lot of you may have the question, why was this not done sooner? Well, when we started EZOfficeInventory in 2011, we took a more utilitarian approach towards the product. What we wanted was for our product to be rich and rich with features and simple to use. And clearly, we succeeded in our goal. And today, we are a market leader in simplified cloud-based asset tracking. So as we expand and grow, we have decided that it is time to dedicate our resources and our energy into modernizing our product, staying up to date with design trends, as well as improving its overall look and feel for our users. Daniel?
Hey, Abhiya, thank you. So guys, that was a bit of a perspective and a thought process the product team adopted before realizing that we need to go and update our user interface. I'm a solutions consultant, and part of my job is to interact with you guys on a daily basis. So before we were starting all of this, we did an analysis of our customer reviews. Easy Office has more than 1,000 businesses signed up, and all of our customers that have given us a review are actually aware of how seriously we take them. So while we were analyzing these reviews, we came across we realized that most of the reviews were talking about different kind of positive aspects of the software, features that were being more used by a different customer for a different purpose. But one thing that was very common across all of them was a user experience and interface enhancement. So the reviews give us very valuable insights into which areas we need to focus on and to make navigation within the system easier while maintaining an aesthetic design. We wanted to reduce the time it takes to actually perform an action by optimizing the steps it takes to perform an action. So that's a bit about customer reviews. Now, going on to the last point about encouraging a self-service model. Well, in the past decade or so, we've managed to amass a large number of organizations located globally. And people or customers who actually opt for larger plans, enterprise customers, go through a very structured sales cycle, either with our sales team or with our customer success team. However, a lot of our customers go for the self-service flow as well. What I mean by self-service is that these guys don't feel the need to get in touch with the customer success or sales team. They sign up for the system, they onboard themselves as well. So we want to encourage this concept. We want to make the system as easy to use as possible. So in the next section, where we show you some of the enhancements that we've actually brought to the interface, we'll also be showing you little, let's say improvements that we brought to actually make it easier for a novice user to go and access the system. Demetrius?
Thanks, Danielle. One of the things that I'm excited to show you guys is our new Help tab feature, which will basically follow you from page to page throughout the site. And when you do click on it, it will give content relevant to that page. So no longer jumping to the dashboard and looking up whatever reference material you need. It will follow you throughout the system. So let's take a look at the new UI and show you how it will enhance your experience throughout the platform. Biha?
Thank you, Demetrius. So let's start with the very first change you will notice in our product, which is the dashboard. Previously, we had KPIs lined out on the dashboard, and if you remember, there were these square boxes that would take up considerable space on the screen, and you guys would often comment on how you want to be able to see more information within a single glance. So, keeping that in mind, we made our KPIs sleeker than ever. Now you can view up to 9 KPIs within a single screen. And what I mean by that is that without even scrolling, you can see 9 important business insights right on your dashboard. So moving on from that, you can also clearly see an edit button on the top right corner of your screen of your dashboard. And upon clicking, it will allow you to drag around your KPIs so you can place them wherever you need, and also add more KPIs and widgets to the dashboard from our extensive collection. I highly recommend going through our collection of KPIs for key business metrics that you may want to track with our product. We are always adding new ones as we go, so I highly recommend you check it out. So now, if I can direct your attention to the bottom right of the screen, you will see that there is a help section, which Demetrius just mentioned a second ago. So this help section is tailored to the needs of the page that you are on. So what this means is that you will have access to blogs that are relevant to where you are in the system. And if you don't find what you're looking for in the help section, you can always search in our knowledge base or email our support. And this can be done within the click of a button. So moving on to one of the most significant changes we have made in EZO, which is the navigation. Previously, our navigation was on the top of the screen, and major modules like locations and groups were nested under the items tab. We realized that these are important components that need to be accessed often. So we moved towards the left navigation bar and listed out all the major modules within it. If you go to more, you can see important features like user roles, reports, alerts, and email templates. Now it is faster than ever to get to any point in the system within just 2 clicks. This change has improved categorization, it has made navigation much more intuitive, and it gives you a full view of how feature rich our product truly is. So before I hand this over to Daniel, just another quick thing to note. In the previous interface, you could filter search results by the module. However, this capability was not visible to most users and would often leave them stumped. As you can see here, we've made the ability to quickly filter much more visible, so you can find exactly what you are looking for in its intended module.
Great, thank you, Abia. So guys, this was a bit on what kind of enhancements we brought to the dashboard. I'll reiterate over here that do go ahead and explore the KPIs. Why? Because you guys have multiple teams on board. Some of them are performing services, some of them are more towards asset management. These KPIs can be altered to each user. So all of the insights that you're getting from the system, they will be specific to your job role or what you want to do with the system. Now, I'll talk a bit about item creation and what kind of enhancements we brought to the items listing page, and then finally move towards the settings. Starting with item creation, I think it's one of the most core actions that you perform inside the software. I mean, you're here to track assets, so you obviously need to add them to the system over here. So in the previous version, you guys must have noticed that there were basically 2 ways to add items. Either you can add them from the dashboard. We used to have 3 buttons over here to add your inventory, asset stocks, and assets. Or you need to go to the items tab, you need to click on a button, go to the respective category, and then add the item. So we saw that this was somewhat of a friction point for some of our customers. So we gave you a quick option over here. So now wherever you are inside the system, you will have the option of adding items. So which reduces, which in turn obviously reduces the amount of clicks you need to take to actually perform this action. Now, following on the discussion of creating items, I'll go ahead and talk a bit about the import process. So majority of the people who do sign up to the system have a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand assets that they need to track. And adding them manually is, well, just not possible. So generally customers opt for the import process. Now, when I talk about the import process, here's the import assets button. And now you can just click on add new assets. So for a customer or for a person or for a user who's performing this action frequently, he's somewhat comfortable with the idea of it. But for a novice user, this can be rather overwhelming. I work in a kind of role in which I get to interact with customers a lot, and this has been something that comes to us very frequently. So touching on to this, you guys can see now that there's a three-step process outlined over here: uploading, mapping columns, previewing, and import. Any person now who's even new to the system basically can perform the import, or knows that he needs to perform 3 steps before having a successful import. Linking this to our idea of self-service, this actually helps novice users get onboarded to the system. Now, if I go ahead and let's say I just go ahead and select a file from over here, let's say I go ahead and select this file, I click on upload and proceed. Now, there's 1,000 items per limitation over here. But if you go ahead and see that, hey, you need to perform this action 5 or 6 times, it can be, somewhat daunting. So the interface now is cleaner than before. The columns are more bifurcated, as you guys can see. And now all you need to do is map the columns over here, similar to what we did before. But the real enhancement over here is that, let's say I'll go ahead and add these 2 columns. And now think of it like this, that you have 20 columns inside a file and you upload them to the system, and you need to map some of them and you need to skip some of them. In the previous version, what you need to do is you need to click on each column and then click on the skip button, which we've actually changed for you guys. And this is one of my favorite things inside the system. Why? Because now all you need to do is click on the proceed button over here, and there's an option to skip all of these columns en masse, which basically, if you talk about user experience over here, we've taken out, let's say, a dozen excessive clicks that you might be doing over here, and replace them with 1 click, skipping all of the unmapped columns. That's one point of it. If you look at it from a different perspective, this also reduces the amount of effort you need to put inside into customizing your profile or customizing your Excel template. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the asset listing page. So this is our assets listing page. I'll start off with the most common request that I personally used to encounter, which was exporting data, right? All of you guys are using the system, and for a lot of advanced analysis, you need to export data on a frequent basis. Exporting data, one way is through the reports, or the other way is just to go to the listings page, click on the export button. In the previous version, you guys must have noticed this used to be done through a little arrow on the right-hand side. And let's say if you had a lot of columns displayed over here, you need to keep on scrolling to the right, and then you'd see a little arrow with little to no information about what its actual purpose is. To find out what it actually does, you need to hover over it, and then actually see, oh, this is the import or export, sorry, this is the export function. And part of a lot of the support queries that we used to get would revolve around this too, that, hey, how do I export my data outside the system? So we changed that. We changed this into an export to CSV option, which allowed us to basically make it very intuitive and very prominent for all of our users as well. Touching base on what Abiha said earlier, moving the navigation panel to the left-hand side and compressing the help function. Just to expand a bit on the self-service model, you guys can see, again, this is tailored to your needs. And what this basically allowed us to do was that it freed up more space. Now we actually can go about, and if we couple it with the idea of, let's say you get to change the width of the columns. So now you can view more data in a single glance, right? So let's say you used to view 6 columns. Now you can fit a larger amount of columns, which makes it easier, takes out the whole idea of going left and right and scrolling. Now I'll go ahead and open up this page over here, the asset drill machine. So we've also changed the items listing page by making certain features more visible, right? If we talk about the details over here, you guys used to notice that this used to be located at the bottom of the page, the related modules and the sections. So for example, services, cards, reservations, these were all located at the bottom of the page. So let's, for example, think of a scenario in which you need to start a service on an item, but before that, you need to see what kind of services it went through. So for that, in the previous version, you need to scroll down first. Then on the action buttons on the right, you'd have the option of starting a service or scheduling a service. Well, what we've done is we've taken out all of the action buttons over here, which gives you more space to actually view your data. And we've compressed all of them in the more function over here. So now you know that, hey, this is the place where I'm going to take all of my actions, or whatever action I need to take on an item is going to be located inside the more button. And let's think of a situation in which you need to start a service, but then you need to go down and see what's actually happening. In the previous version, you'd be scrolling up and down, but that's not the case anymore. This button or this bar over here is sticky now. So wherever you are, get the insights you want, and then just perform the action. It's pretty simple, to be honest. And then going to the details page, some things are still the same. For example, the files and the comments section is still located at the bottom of the page because we did realize that this was the most optimum position for it. So this is a bit about, just items and what we could have, what we've done with them. Now I'll go to my personal favorite, the settings page. So anyone, all of the account owners or all of the people over here that have actually gone through the setup process know how daunting of a task this would be. In the previous version, what you'd see is a very long menu with the update button located at the bottom of the page. A very frequent query that we would get on our support channels would be that, hey, I've actually updated a setting over here, but it's not being implemented inside the system. And we need to go troubleshoot the problem. And more often than not, we realize that the setting was just not updated. Judging the frequency of these requests, we realize that this is not something that is, a shortcoming on our customers' end. This is basically a gap that we need to fulfill. So what we've done is that we've made this button sticky. So now wherever you are on the page, this actually acts as an indicator that, hey, you need to go ahead and update to actually implement the setting. And another thing that we've done is, and this is a very subtle and nice hint over here. So let's say I go ahead and disable recurring services. As soon as I take an action over here, you can see that the button changes color from white to blue, which basically just means that, hey, again, the system is hinting you that you need to click on update before you can actually exit. And then another thing that we brought to the enhancement that we brought to the settings page was a search bar. So previously, whichever customer I would talk to, there were just two ways to actually find a setting. You would either be scrolling down, or I'd recommend do a Control F or a Command F and search for the setting. We realized that this is actually the workaround that the majority of our customer base is using right now. So what we did was that we actually implemented this as a built-in feature inside the system. Now, whatever you're searching for, even if you're not sure of the exact thing you're searching for, just let's say, for example, I want to do something with transferring. So I just go ahead and type in transfer over here, and I'll get a list of all of the actions that are related to transferring. So just in terms of the settings page, for any person who is new to the system, these two changes mean a lot. Why? Because they just mean that setting up the process or just going about making changes inside the system is a lot easier than it used to be before, with a lot less friction too. Demetrius.
Awesome, thank you, sir. One thing I do really like is the placement of that update button, because I would probably be the first to admit that I myself have forgot to click that to save my settings a number of times. So the fact that it's stuck up at the top, it highlights as a reminder, I think is a great enhancement. And that the search feature, we have a lot of add-ons and settings, and that search feature on the left is a great improvement to help settings navigation. So to give you a little bit of understanding on what we're looking at on the horizon, I'll hand it over to Abiha, and she can kind of touch on that for a little bit. Abiha?
All right. Thank you, Demetrius. So, while the new design is a major overhaul from our previous look, we want to reiterate that this is not just a one-time thing. Rather, this is a constant process of iterating over the product and ensuring that we deliver the best possible experience to you. We have some enhancements lined up for the upcoming months, and we would like to touch upon them as we wrap up this session. So firstly, we are working on making the product more customizable. This would entail enhancements to our custom fields and their functionality, as well as customizable labels in the product, so that you can name modules within the system according to your business needs. Then we have enhancements to our search functionality. We recognize that search is a crucial need for all businesses, so we plan on introducing better filters in search, as well as enhancing the performance of our current search feature. Then we have bundles. So bundles are a very, very popular feature in our product, and they're super versatile when it comes to handling client needs, especially when it comes to tracking items in bulk. One request we've gotten over the years is to track bundles as a single entity and to have the option to add an item to a cart versus adding the bundle that the item is a part of. Well, we listen to your feedback, and our bundle enhancements are coming very, very soon. So do be on the lookout for that. And last but not the least, we know that we have drastically changed the web app experience. And we also recognize that in today's era, everything is on the go, everything is mobile, everything has to be in the palm of your hand. So our next major milestone is to overhaul the EZO mobile app, make it faster, make it more appealing, and most importantly, make it much more powerful. The mobile app design is currently underway, and we are putting into consideration all the client feedback and requests that we've been getting over the last few years, be it regarding the design of the app or the functionality that the app allows. We are super excited for you to join us for our next major release. Demetrius?
Thanks, Abiha. I'm really looking forward to the mobile app rollout. I have not had the privilege of even getting a peek at it yet, so the anticipation is killing me. Um, I do want to thank the members of our development and product teams for their hard work on these improvements. I know it's not a simple task, but it is a big achievement, and we're very happy to be putting this out. Um, for now, you can toggle between the old and new UIs. That will be available until the 19th of June, when the new UI will go live across the board. I hope you're excited about all these enhancements as we are. What we can do now is take about 10 or 15 minutes for some Q&A.
Okay, guys, so we have a bunch of questions from you guys. So I'll just go ahead and read the first question that we have. It's from Handel Humphrey. Hello, regarding item creation, when I create a new asset, it automatically assigns it an asset number. I cannot reassign or change this number. So if I delete an asset, we now have gaps in the list of assets. Well, Handel, just to answer that question, asset numbers are automatically assigned by the system. If, for example, you do need to go for a more customized option, there's always an option to change to the asset identification number. Right? For when you do go to change to the asset identification number, there's also an option to make it the primary identifier. Doing that will allow you to actually customize what is happening to your items. And also, if these gaps that you're seeing right now, they will also be removed. I hope I was able to answer your question. And just to let you guys know, we received a large number of questions right now, and whichever ones we will not be able to answer, we will follow up with you or send you guys an email on them as well. Another question is that, will this live stream be available as a full recorded video later? Yes, this will be. We will be sending out the video recording in the coming few days as well. So for example, if you need to show it to your teams to onboard them, you can go ahead and do that. We also encourage all of our customers that whatever issues or anything that you are facing with the system, do reach out to your account managers. We're very keen on feedback right now, and we'd love to get as much of your opinion as possible. So one question is it now possible to change an item from an asset stock to asset if the category is wrongly assigned? Well, this is something that we've come across a number of times, and I'll let Abiha answer the logic behind it, why we don't let people go ahead and change the item types. Just to add just to add my own 2 cents, one of the primary reasons we don't is because of the conflicting type of data in the two. Asset stock differ in their nature as compared to assets, but Abia is the expert on this over here, so I'll let her go ahead and do it.
Yeah, so due to the serialized nature of assets and then the bulk tracking nature of asset stock, we really can't allow a transfer from there, which is why we do allow you to delete items that you've made and just create a new asset in as a replacement. So we can't allow it just because of how the two are tracked in terms of the data that's stored for them. Yeah.
Okay, great. So there's another question that in the new user interface, there are a bunch of issues, and will they be fixed before the old user interface is switched off? Well, we assure you, whichever issue you are reporting regarding the new interface, we are working on them on a high priority basis. All of those issues will be addressed in a very timely manner, and we will try our best to resolve all of them before the actual change is made.
All right, so I see a question which says timeline for the bundle enhancement. Okay, so the bundle enhancement is due to go live in mid-June. So that is the tentative date for the launch. Do look out for it. We're very excited for you to see it.
Okay, so there's a customer who's reported that they've entered 1,000 items wrongly assigned, and they now need to redo it manually one by one. Well, there are a couple of ways to go about doing this. If you've entered, let's say, 1,000 items wrong, you can always retire them in mass or delete them as well, being the account owner. If, for instance, you've checked out 1,000 items in the wrong way, if you go towards your import, if you go to the import function on an assets detail page, I'm sorry, I'm not completely aware of what the item type is, so I'm just going to assume it's assets over here. So you can go ahead and do a mass action over there as well. And so the idea of doing all of the 1,000 items manually, please don't do that. Do go ahead and use the import function. If you run across any kind of issues, reach out to your account manager or to us at support support@easyofficeinventory.com, and we'd be happy to help you out. Well, there's another question that says, when would the updated mobile app be available?
So right now, I can't provide an ETA for that because we are currently in the design phase of the process. So once that's down, we can send out an ETA.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I see that someone's reported that uh, the column view, they're asking if the column view being resizable is sticky or not. So this was a problem that was recently reported, and our dev team is working on making sure that the changes in column width remain sticky. So rest assured, it will be fixed very soon.
Perfect. So there's another question, can we change the purchase order to internal or external purchase orders? Right now, if you're trying to do a purchase order, you don't know which one you are doing. Well, that is a good point. I'm sure Abiha would agree with that as well. Just to let you guys know, we have purchase order enhancements on our roadmap. The reason why we haven't listed them over here is because we're talking about interface enhancements and not overall enhancements that are going to be brought to the product itself. If there's any confusion about this, I do assure you that the 4 enhancements that we mentioned over here are only related to the interface and not towards the entire product. So let's say all of the modular enhancements, for example, work order enhancements or purchase order enhancements, the same process is being followed. POs have been placed as a high priority, and we will be working tirelessly on them to improve them.
All right, Daniel, just to add to this, if you want to mark a purchase order as internal or external, and there's no major difference in the process that it takes currently in the system, you can make a custom field, I suppose, for the purchase order.
No, you're 100%
Uh,
right.
yeah, yeah, so that's also an option if you just want to tag the purchase order in a way. So yeah, okay, I see another question that we understand that inventory items are considered consumables, but there are times it comes back, sometimes partially to us. Will you ever allow it to be returned to the system? So interestingly, we do have that on our product roadmap at the moment. Again, it's currently in the evaluation phase, so we can't provide an ETA. But once we have an ETA, we will make sure to give everyone a heads up.
And just to add to that, so if, for example, you do come across situations in which your inventory was not fully utilized at the site or the location it was checked out to, workaround to that is to perform an add stock function. And there is an option to actually attach notes or add comments to it as well. So you can use that section to actually notify why this add stock is being performed. There's another question from Sandra Montinez. Is there a way to run a report only for assets that need to be serviced? Yes, if you go to your assets, so I hope I'm getting the question right over here, but you can also always go ahead and filter based on what items you need to service, and there are basically service states over here. So if you filter according to that, you should be able to do it.
And Danielle, just to clarify on that, that is going to reflect pre-existing scheduled services. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I see another question. When receiving purchase orders and say only half came in and you accidentally accept all of it, can you go back to correct it? So right now we don't allow this. Once a purchase order is recorded, it's set in stone. One suggestion would be to make that purchase order null and void and create another one with the correct data. We are looking into making purchase or enhancing purchase orders. So again, we'll provide an ETA once we have that. Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay, I see a question from Mark Graves. Home location functionality where assets, the functionality in asset stocks where you return stock by default to where it came from would be superb. If it could be applied to assets, we check out items from home location and then take them to a specific stated location. Oh, all right. So Mark, we do have a feature in progress. Uh, it's going to be live within the month of June. It's called custom field linkages. So what you can do is you can you can create a field called home location and you can refer to an actual location in the system within that custom field. So it's very flexible. You can basically link any item to an item to any module in the system. So we're excited for you to see it, and it's going to be implemented very soon. Yes.
So there's another question. I use the system for inventory only. Is there a report I can pull for added items on a given day? Like how many items I I added to stock on a given day. Yes, if you go to your inventory reports, you can do that. And there is an option to actually filter based on the creation dates as well. So use the filters over there. You should be able to see when the stock was added. If, for example, you figure out that it's not meeting your requirements, you can always go scroll to the bottom of the page, go to where it's making a custom report. For any assistance regarding the structuring your report or anything, again, please do reach out to us at support@EZOfficeInventory.com. We'd love to help you set up this report as well.
There's another question on the new interface. How do we enlarge the company logo? The new interface seems to have shrunk our logo. All right, so we'll look into. So that's not something that we currently have in the pipeline, but that is something that we can look into. And like we mentioned earlier, we will get back to every question that was asked in this in this webinar. So do look out for that follow-up email.
Great. There's another question regarding, are there any future integrations on the roadmap? Well, we do. Regarding the interface itself, obviously there aren't a lot over there, but integrations itself, yes, we're constantly looking at partner organizations to make it more easy for you guys to integrate EZOffice inside all of your organizations. To reach out to your account manager, and he or she would be happy to guide you on what is actually coming next in the product.
So there's this question, do you have updates about roles by Hugo? Could we have a little more detail about this? Or you could reach out to your solutions consultant or account owner to guide you through this.
Okay, so just to expand on that, do you have updates about roles? Hugo, custom roles has been implemented inside the system. It's a very extensive module, and the knowledge base material on it is very helpful. And I would advise that before you actually attempt to do anything with the custom roles, do go through the knowledge base blog on custom roles. It'll give you a very good kickstart. There's another question over here from Shannon Newman. Has there been updates to the audit function? I have roughly 3,100 assets. If I need to do a widespread audit, I can only request the audit 25 at a time, since that is all that is listed on the page view. Shannon, if you go to your settings, and then if you go to your my settings, there's an option to increase the page count to 100. So I hope that helps. It's going to be a lot easier than 25 at a time, but do let us know if you still think there's any kind of improvement we need to bring over there.
Yeah, also from a product perspective, just to add on to what Daniel is saying, we are working on updates to our audit functionality. We do want to allow being able to audit your items en masse. So that is something that's on our roadmap, and we will let you know once that's under development. Yeah.
Okay, so Sandra Martinez asked, do you have a manual for new users? Yes, we do. Whenever you do sign, we have a quick start guide, which is basically sent out. If even in the help-based section, you have the option of accessing the quick startup guide, it basically gives you a walkthrough of what is happening inside the system and the basic modules that you need to be aware of before you actually, immerse in the system and take actions.
All right, so I see a question. Is there data export to XLS as well? I found that handling CSV is very challenging and error prone. Yes, we have recently introduced XLS exports in our reports. So if you want to be able to export your data, your reports, you can export them in XLS. I hope that helps.
Well, Christopher Richards gave more of a compliment rather than a question, but thank you so much, Christopher. It means a lot to us.
I do see one here. It's regarding account owners. It said, would you consider allowing more than one account owner? It's my understanding on this that that's not something that we're really going to move forward on, because they are the ones that pretty much have financial control over the accounts. One thing you can do to address issues that other users cannot do that you'd like them to is through our custom roles. And if you would need more detail on, how you can set that up, you can always use that trusty help feature or email your solutions consultant as well. But that would be probably my best recommendation on addressing access and permissions, is by utilizing our custom roles feature.
So Charles Moore asked, is there going to be built-in mass update functions without using spreadsheets? So there is a built-in mass update function in which you can edit items in mass. If you go to the button on your, if you go to the more button on your listings page, you can drop down the menu. There is an option to edit items in mass as well. Do use that. It's going to help a lot. But if you're talking about, let's say, uploading items to the system in mass without using a CSV file, well, I don't think we currently have anything on the roadmap regarding that.
Danielle, do you have anything else?
Yeah, just one thing. So
Okay.
I'm seeing a few questions regarding the new interface being a bit overwhelming over right now. So guys, just to relate to that, when the interface was launched, obviously we did the internal testing. And once we actually saw the new interface, it did take us, let's say, a bit of a transition process. There was a bit of a transition process involved for us as well. And I think that's basically the case with anything when it's going to be updated. For most of you guys that have been using us since a number of months or years, you guys must now, by this time, you guys must be comfortable with the Yoda interface, the way it works and everything. So give it some time to just transition to the new interface. What we have done is that's why we have extended the limits to 19th of June. So you can toggle between the two interface and actually see which one you're more comfortable with. Whichever page you think you're not comfortable with or you think was better in the old user interface, do reach out to us at support@EZOfficeInventory.com, because like I've said, we're very keen on this feedback right now and we're very proactively working on it as well. So whatever thing you do report to us, rest assured we will take it into account.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. Well, let's go ahead and just kind of wrap it up. But I do want to thank everybody for attending the webinar. Like I said, especially in these trying times. If we did not get to your question, we will respond to you via email. And also, I can't express enough, if you have any questions or concerns regarding the new UI, please reach out to support and discuss it with your solutions consultant. It's what we're here for. And we really enjoy helping people get their issues addressed in a timely manner. Um, Again, thank you for attending the first of our webinar series. I want everyone to have a great day and be safe out there. Thank you.